So I'm here with Jay King after the Celtics take a loss tonight to the Indiana Pacers, 102 to 91. Jay, not a whole lot of three-point shooting, not necessarily a very pretty game, but one encouraging sign was Marcus Smart's return. Some limited minutes, some poor shooting, but what did you think of Smart's return tonight?
I thought he moved well in spurts. You could tell he didn't have his legs underneath him. He didn't have his wind. But he moved well in spurts. The toe didn't bother him too much. He was limping after the game. He needed a lot of treatment. By the time he was ready to talk to reporters, all the other players had already left. The Celtics media guy actually had to come and track down a bunch of the reporters because they had already started writing their stories. So it is still a bit of an issue. He's not all the way back. He's still on a minutes restriction. All his shots were short. He just wasn't all the way back yet. He wasn't Marcus Smart again. So he's going to take some time to round back into shape. Hopefully that'll happen soon. Last year when he came back from injury, it was one game where he looked awful, and then the next game he was fine. So hopefully it'll be something like that for the Celtics because, they were ugly. It was ugly. Ugly basketball tonight against Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely, and it doesn't get a whole lot uglier than that three-point percentage. 4 for 24 from behind the arc for 16%. Nobody made more than one. What was going on? What was happening behind the three-point line tonight?
Well, they're not a good three-point shooting team to begin with. They weren't a good three-point shooting team. Last year, they didn't add any established shooters, and tonight was just one of those nights where nothing would fall. There were a few times when guys were open for key shots, didn't go down. It was just ugly, ugly night shooting the basketball, which compounded all of their other issues on offense. The ball was really stagnant. They threw a bunch of turnovers at the beginning, a bunch of turnovers at the end. It was just not a pretty offensive performance from Boston, especially after the last two games when they had long stretches of looking really good. This was kind of coming back to earth where Evan Turner was really the only one who had a good offensive game, and Sullinger was okay too.
Sure. Yeah, it's it can be tough to watch the Celtics when they're struggling. Obviously, they don't really have that one guy to go to get a basket when they need one. They've got to rely on their good offense, and when nobody's knocking down shots, that can be tough. The Pacers do have that guy. They have Paul George. 10 for 22 tonight, 26 points, 10 rebounds. Really nice game from George. How did he hurt the Celtics? What did you see from his game tonight?
Well, the run that really changed the game was in the third quarter. Evan Turner had gone on a 6-0 run. Celtics looked like they were about to take control. And then George got an and one. Crowder had an offensive foul, which was his fourth foul the next possession. And then George just kind of took over, 6 straight points. And that was it. Indiana had control again. Boston never took another lead. So that was just a moment. He just took the game by himself and decided, you know what? This is going to be a Pacers win. And especially after Crowder was gone, the Celtics didn't have enough size to stop him. He was just shooting over everybody. They really, really struggled to stop him. He's back to being Paul George. The injury doesn't affect him anymore. It's clear. It's been very clear in both of their games against the Celtics so far. They just really couldn't stop him, either of those games.